Really hoping this works because this is a nightmare.
Oh, I know it.
It's live.
Okay, it says
So,
we're live in the corner.
yeah. Okay. So you talk now.
Hi, I'm Jimmy. Calvin dragged me into this.
It's working now.
Is it?
It's working.
Okay, see if you can get Kristen.
I was thinking, Lydia, it is working. Oh my gosh.
Chris is probably burning his phone right now saying, no. I want no part of this.
Let me give him the link really fast.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and kill this other one. I used to be streaming on my channel. There we go.
Yeah, it's working.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I'm going to see if we can keep doing it through my laptop because I'm kind of worried if we don't, it's not going to work.
You're looking pretty good on the laptop right now.
That's because I've turned my settings that I'm streaming at like 360p right now. So
hey,
Chris,
you really need.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, Chris?
With the aloha.
Chris?
All right. You know what? I'm going to tweet out the link and I'm going to make us go live on YouTube in like just a minute. So give me a sec.
Sounds good.
Link. Cool. I don't send the hi, come join our stream. And
make sure you hit the public part of it first.
Yeah, I will. I'm working on that right now. I just got a text from my dad. What happened to the live feed? Technical difficulties.
Third operator standing by. Oh, I like that turtle.
All right. Let me go back to the stream. We should be live right now.
Behind you?
Yeah, looks like we're going.
So I see you every so often, Calvin, but I have not seen Chris yet.
Chris,
you can't see me?
I see Chris on the live stream now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, because all I see on this this feed here, I see your picture from your profile, and I see Chris's practical printing logo.
That's
so
weird,
as long as it's showing up on YouTube, that's all that matters.
I see you.
Sweet.
It's switching on my end and it's switching on the YouTube end, so that's what matters.
So,
I'm sitting on the floor right now.
Hey, I'm sitting on a stool with like IKEA stuff on top still, so you know.
I'm looking all fat right now. I've got my little head and big body going on.
That dumb and happy.
Oh man. So what do we want to talk about? If you just want to hang out and chill, and if anybody comes on chat, that's all well and cool.
Sounds good to me.
Talk about Jimmy's mad driving skills.
Oh heck yeah. FYI, you're pretty quiet on my end, so I'm going to turn your audio up, so don't do anything too loud or headphone users will hate us for the rest of their life.
You don't want me to talk into the microphone?
Rick, headphone users went off the balloon. But yeah, talk about your Colorado trip, because we are all exceedingly jealous of you right now.
Oh, it's been awesome. So the whole reason why we came back here is because Beth's sister had passed away back in April. So we had a celebration of life for her on Sunday. So we got here on Friday. Well, let me start from the very beginning. We left on Wednesday, and we made it over to Reno that night. I think it was about 9 o'clock that night. We checked into a hotel in Reno. For Donner Summit, it was raining and it was getting pretty cold. We didn't realize there was a chance of snow. So next morning we wake up, we listen to the news, and they're talking about how they had to shut down Donner Summit that night. And you look on all the mountains had the nice dusting of snow, and they said, yeah, it was the first dusting of the year. The first snow of the season. Oh, that's cool. we didn't know that they were expecting snow in Utah and all the rest of it. So for the next, like, let's see, that was on Wednesday night. And then Thursday, we drove through Nevada and got into Utah, started hitting snow in Utah. And just one thing after another. But we finally we made it to Salt Lake City, and then I forget. I think it was Springville was the town we spent the night in on Thursday night. And next morning I got up and actually went back up almost to. It was almost Salt Lake City. We went up to this is the Maverick Stadium, because a friend of mine works for a Maverick gas station. So we stopped by and visited with him for a little bit. And then we fired back over and got to Grand Junction that, I think it was in the afternoon. Was that it? Yeah, it was that afternoon when we got to Grand Junction.
Wow.
But pretty much the whole weekend was getting everything set up for the celebration of life. We had that on Sunday. Everything went great. So now it's just been time to kind of decompress and do some stuff. So Monday it took my daughter or stepdaughter and my grandson, they were both here. So we went down to Uray. They're going to see about renting a Jeep or something like that to take up into the hills, and all the rentals were taken. So said, well, I got the rental. Let's just take the van up there. So
like an episode of Top Gear right there.
The thing is, I've been up this trail this was probably my 5th or 6th time up that trail. So I kind of knew it. So I knew about how far I could get with a 2-wheel drive minivan.
You know, it's sad when you talk about people in their 4-wheel drive Jeeps chickening out, and here you are in a rental minivan going farther. That's just pathetic on Jeep people's part. I mean, obviously you had prior experience, but still, it's kind of like if you buy a Jeep, you might as well use the thing off-road a little bit, make it more in the parking lot queen, just saying.
Yeah, but Jeeps aren't Jeeps anymore. I mean,
No.
Yeah, I know.
They're
They've
not.
gone from the old Willie's Jeep that, dudes with no seatbelts are like flying 10 feet in the air in those old military videos, to now a Jeep is like what every ditzy prom queen drives, and you're like, that's not what a Jeep was meant for.
you can get further up the trail in that Datsun than you can a Jeep.
My dad's watching this. He's gonna be like, what the heck is this guys in the Datsun? Don't worry, Chris. Hopefully I'm gonna be filming some more tiny house footage when I go down for Hostech middle of October. And if I get to film scenes of dumping the toilet, we'll just say there might be a Datsun that makes it in the scene, so you might be in luck. We'll see.
A prop Datsun.
Yeah, the prop Datsun, the one that has to be pulled out by my Honda. That one.
I need to put some dubs on it. We'll just bring it up here and take it up the trail.
You, me, my dad, rolling the Datsun going, what the heck are we doing in this thing? Hey, we got a Print 3D channel in here. If you want the link, let me send you the link to join if you want to. This is kind of Print 3D. This is kind of like our little hangout. So Jeff, check your Twitter messages now. Feel free. I mean, if you don't want to, hop on, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just tossing that out there. It's kind of a little hangout because we didn't really have anything that amazing planned. It was more like, oh, look at us fail at starting a live stream. We eventually got it.
Yeah, this live stream is. I'm on the floor.
I'm still sitting on my wonderful stool. What was that, Chris?
This week's topic is how technically challenged Calvin is.
Something like that. Yeah. Okay. This hopefully dispels the myth that Calvin is like some technical whiz kid. I'm not. Okay. Sorry to break it to you guys. Hey, we got Curtis in the chat. What's up, dude?
What's up, Curtis?
not this technical like whiz kid guy. Like, oh, Calvin's like some little computer professor. I'm not a computer professor, genius dude. Okay, just we proved that tonight.
Brandon had to take off. His baby woke up.
Oh,
Hey, we got Prince 3D joining us in here. It's a party. What's up, Jeff?
how's it going, Jeff?
Your mic's off.
Mike's off. Reminds me of the old days of that TV show, The Screensavers, when people would call in and have problems with like their mic not working. It was great.
We have more technically challenged people.
Click the microphone, Jeff. Click the microphone.
Let me see if I
There
can.
you go.
Nope, that's the camera.
No, he's
Now
still
you
there.
got it.
My dad's
Nope.
probably watching this going, oh, please, no, this is horrible.
We can't hear you, Chris. Or Jeff, we can't hear you.
Let me pop open my little sidebar thingy and see. I've cranked Jeff's audio up all the way as well.
Here we
So
go.
don't do anything. Hey, we hear you. What's up?
Here we go. What's up?
What's up?
And there it goes.
Innocent chat right now. What's up, dude?
What's happening,
How's
guys?
Ireland? I believe. Not too much. You just missed all the technical difficulties crap that it took to get us here, which was really embarrassing.
No,
Me and Jimmy.
That's okay, because I have my own technical difficulties, apparently.
We're like, no.
Go to sleep?
Yeah.
All right, I won't be too loud.
Right. Yeah, right.
Tell her to say goodnight.
Jimmy says goodnight.
Okay.
Hi, Heather.
Good night. Willie's going to bed. Let's make a ton of noise.
Woo!
I know.
On the spider wagon and crank up that sweet stereo system.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
tell her.
I'll turn the volume down a little bit here so it's not super loud. I can hear you guys.
Okay, I cranked up your mic volume a little bit since it was kind of quiet, so kind of balances everything out on my end. Rip headphone users. Wait,
No headphone.
I just got a text from my dad saying, we're watching. How much of an hour are we getting? Till I pass out, Dad. There's your answer.
So, Jimmy, where are you about?
I'm in Grand Junction, Colorado.
Grand Junction still?
Yeah. Yesterday I drove down to Ouray, Colorado, and then we went up into the mountains, and then we came back that last night, and then today we took a drive up over, they call it, what was that, Grand Mesa.
Oh, okay. You
So
taking
we went,
off-roading, I hear, too.
yeah. Had to take the minivan out.
It's a rental.
I bought the insurance.
Exactly. I can't tell you how many times that we rented I think it was a Mitsubishi truck of some sort
Pajero?
before I moved here, and we picked it up here in Vegas, unlimited miles, four-wheel drive vehicle, and took it up to Utah, and basically put like 10,000 miles on the car over like a 4-day period.
Now, that would be fun.
Miles.
Jack up on 4 wheels and just gun the engine for like an hour each day to like totally crank up the odometer.
Yeah. Oh, we just drive unnecessarily, you know. Let's go get some firewood at the end of the road. I'll take the truck. I gotta go to the
Oh
bathroom.
my
I'm gonna
God.
take the truck. So anyway, if you guys can see behind me, I don't know. There's a print going, a practical print.
I see a G-Max going.
Yes. Yes, with my extremely MacGyvered time-lapse rig. We have a piece of blue tape and a bulldog clip.
That's the way to do it.
It
What's
works.
what's the material underneath the print bed made from? Is that aluminum, I think?
The red?
Yeah.
Oh, that's metal. That's the G Create powder coated.
Calvin.
Yeah,
What was
it's
that, Chris?
powder coated metal.
It's aluminium.
Okay, because I was going to say I was working on a little magnetic GoPro mount that has a neodymium magnet embedded inside the print. This is what I was complaining about on Twitter with Amazon not delivering my magnets, because I've got the Thingomatic set up to run Engine Flex for me. So the idea is the magnet can allow me to stick this down onto a metal surface like a milling vise, or when I go down to Oztech and Oxnard in October, I want to see if they're going to be crazy enough to let me stick the GoPro or my $60 knockoff inside one of the machines. And I was thinking, if I have just a simple magnet mount, I can drop it on the vise, film the machine doing its thing, and it's really easy. So that's why I was asking what the material was underneath. I had a feeling it was aluminum, but I wanted to make sure, because I was like, well, if you could just stick a magnet on there, that'd be super easy. But I might be able to design something up for you on that out there if you wanted to do a collab.
Yeah. Well, actually, Gordon over at G Create, he's been posting on Instagram that he's designing a GoPro rig specific for the G Create machine. It's basically, it attaches across the whole front, and it's got multiple attach points and a little arm. You can go up on Instagram and look at his GTL Makes. I think that's what it is, Chris, right? GTL Makes.
Possibly.
Yeah. Gordon LaPlante Makes GTL Plant. Yeah. But yeah, he's got a GoPro rig he's designing, and I've been waiting for him to release the files on that. But I don't know if I do need one for the TiVo.
I'm down for whichever machine, honestly. I was just thinking the G Create, because you had mentioned that you had a MacGyvered mount for that, But
Understand.
that was all. It's kind of like my slightly torn down, because I'm working on the LCD cover back for it, so being that I'm like the GoPro guy or action camera guy, that sort of thing. Yes, Dad, I know. I'm just drinking Arizona black and white tea so I can stay awake during the stream. That's all.
Sure
I have
you
Apple TV
are.
dinner waiting for me downstairs.
Sure, Calvin. Sure you are.
So, did you guys watch today's video?
What's that?
Did you guys watch today's video?
No.
I never got a chance to.
Not yet.
So I don't know if you guys can see. You probably can see this. This was the fail I showed off during the video. It's the low poly lighthouse on a rock, and it failed. It just stopped.
Oh no!
It stopped extruding like big time. So before I left for work, I started it because I figured it might have been something to do with retraction. Whatever, who knows? I started it up in magenta, and I'm going to show this tomorrow, but you guys can see it now. This one didn't fare much better.
Ouch.
I mean, it went further. It got further.
Wow.
But it started to do the exact same thing, and I think the gap fill option, because I'm trying to fill into these walls because they're single walls on inside and outside, and there was no infill going in. So I was using that gap fill in Simplify 3D, and I think that tiny little tower there and all that retraction and everything, it just ended up chewing up the filament, because the GMAX really holds a really good pinch on that. And I've got a pretty sharp drive gear. I keep it clean with a little wire brush, and I blow it off air with a little air can as much as I can, keep dust off of it. So I know it's really sharp. So I think what happened is it just started chewing into the filament as it was printing with all that retraction, and eventually it just started spinning. It wasn't printing, it's clicking. But yeah, it's a sad, sad little lighthouse.
So Chris, do you have any good failed print stories? Because I got a good one for after you guys share yours. Jimmy obviously doesn't, because he's in Colorado, but he gets away with it because he's gone off-roading in the Swagger wagon, so that's all good.
Yeah.
Print story.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chris. You have a giant fail bag, I'm sure.
That's my recycle bag of failed prints. Nothing specific. I mean, I've made the protopasta pasta before, like everyone else. I've made the blueberry nozzles. I've had some very big blueberry nozzles. I've destroyed probably about 4 E3Ds. I mean, just because they were so encapsulated that it would, my time to get all of that off would have cost me more than just replacing the darn hot end. They were that bad. But yeah, I get a lot of failed prints because in my case, I'm always tinkering with the printers. Yesterday morning, I put some of the new Silent TMC 2208 drivers on the DI3, and those things are so quiet. You can't hear the you can't even hear the motors over the fans blowing.
Wow, I can't wait to get those installed. I really want to get a set of those for the G-Max.
It is insanely quiet. Chris sent me a video of it, and I'm like, wait, what am I hearing again? I don't really, literally all you could hear was just the fans. I was thinking, oh, he's just, you know, people are always like, you know, oh, my machine's so quiet. I mean, this thing made, quote, quiet machines look noisy. I kid you not. It was insane.
Yeah, I saw that video too. There was the fan. I had to like listen carefully. I put the iPhone up to my ears, like, yeah, that's just the fan.
Yeah, the fans. If I can replace the fans with some like Noctuas or something, I mean that machine will be total stealth mode.
What about an off-board fan?
Not for these. I mean, there's 2 fans, one for the hot end, one for the.
No, I mean, what if we, you know, did something crazy like make the fan off the printer and run a hose?
I mean, yeah, I toyed with the ideas of actually feeding an air compressor over.
That's what I mean, like some sort of off-printer air system, so you wouldn't have to worry about fan noise, and then you could direct it better because the G-Create leaks air at the joint of the fan shroud and the fan itself.
Yeah, I think if we were going to do that, I'd probably go with a water-cooled hot end first.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've considered it, but if you start actually thinking about the amount of air that you need to get across through that hose to be able to create that much pressure, you're actually putting a noisier fan in. So even though you're moving it away from the printer, you're putting in a bigger, larger fan to be able to move that idea.
Right, that's true.
Oh.
Well, off-board air compressor in another room with air lines, just like you would have in a workshop for your air power tools. You know, if you could run air lines to all your printers and have it built into the system, run air lines into the extrusion, send them out to the middle, and just bury it so nobody would see it. I mean, you could have little multi-directional fans that, depending on what you're printing, you know, if you're printing something that requires a little extra cooling at the nozzle or maybe a little bit cooling after the print goes down or after the material goes down, you could direct those little fan nozzles.
There's
super accurate.
There's actually a part that for the CME CNC HE280 hot end, which is an aluminum loop, about 3/4 of an inch, 2 or 3 centimeters in a loop. It's just a 2 millimeter aluminum tube that's pinched at one end and then has microscopic perforations on it, and it loops right around where the nozzle. So if that's the nozzle, it kind of comes in. I don't know if I can show it. Something like that. And basically, it feeds off, and it's fed from a fish tank pump.
Really?
Or an industrial fish tank pump. It moves a little bit more air than a fish tank, but conceptually, it's the same thing. It's just one of those kind of pumps. But it puts the air right there around the nozzle, and from what I've heard, it works great if you're printing really small, detailed parts.
See, that's, you know, when you're printing stuff like this and you want to get that maximum cooling, I mean, some of these fan shrouds, the latest design I've seen is that 360 fan shroud. I kind of like that. I like seeing it a lot more on more printers because it really, like you're saying, there's nozzles at every 15 or 5 or 10 degrees, holes that are just leaching air all over the part.
I'm going to interject in here really fast as a machinist. I'm surprised that nobody's done anything. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those lock lines. They're sometimes used in fish tanks. They're kind of like those gorilla pod tripod things, only they're hollow inside, so you can angle the hose. However, we use those for coolant lines, and some people would actually machine a ring to put them in there, so you can literally. I mean, if you had a good source of air, or on the Mazak or on more modern machines, what they have is literally a coolant ring with little nozzles that come down that you can aim at the tool. I'm surprised nobody's done a ring that runs to a high volume air supply, say like a ducted fan or a squirrel cage blower or something like that, a little bit like what the Prusa has with the squirrel cage fan to cool the prints. Surprised nobody's done anything like that where it just like shoots all the air, or you could even 3D print something that shoots the air so it is in a relatively even flow, so it hits right below the nozzle, so the amount of kickback onto the nozzle and the hot end is minimal, but it shoots a lot of air right into one spot, and that helps cool the prints. That might be something we could all look into attempting to build.
We did that. Myself and a gentleman named Larry, who actually lives up closer to Travis, probably, up in Paradise. We used the lock lines and basically put two of them on the early 1.0 Gmax, one down either side, and built basically a C-shaped nozzle adapter. So there was one on either side of the hot end, and we're feeding that by a 20 by 20 squirrel cage up at the back. So it was getting some pretty good air volume. It moved a lot of air, and the nice thing was if you needed to do maintenance, you can pull them up out of the way to get them in there to clean your nozzle and stuff and position them where you wanted it. The problem that we found with them is with the vibrations of the motors and the arms and stuff, they would start to sag down into your print.
Fair enough. I was thinking like a short lock line that was only like 2 or 3 segments long, so it wasn't like a really long one. It was relatively short, so that way the distance to the nozzle was relatively small, but that is good to know.
Yeah, we were working around what we had, on the Gmax to do it. But so it was probably about 6 segments per line, and we split them off basically did a Y adapter into 2 segments. It was moving about 60 CFM.
Wow.
So I mean, it was a lot of air being pushed into it from that squirrel cage. But I think that much air volume could have also attributed to some of it trying to straighten out and sag.
Definitely. I think in a situation like that, doing a setup like I had mentioned on the CNC machines where there's a ring and a couple of short lines that shoot, or just that 3D printed circular duct fed by like 1 or 2 fans, squirrel cage, probably like 2 squirrel cage blowers, and then have a divider in there so that way each one's only blowing to half of it. I think you get some incredible airflow. I think your only problem at that point would be too much air hitting the hot end and causing cooling. But Jimmy, what do you have to say? Because you've been patiently sitting there waiting.
Sounds awesome.
Jimmy's not at all.
So how long took you to hack up the new printer that G-Tech has sent you to do this magical stuff?
Yeah, I need to get back on that printer and get some things figured out on that.
Is it okay if I talk about a few of the problems you've been having, or should I keep that private? I don't want to say anything without your A-OK, and then you're like, gosh darn it, Calvin! That's all.
Now, right now, the only problem I've been having lately is trying to get the Wi-Fi hooked up. Now, I know it's something simple. It's just I need to get back and tear into it to figure out exactly what it is. I got a gut feeling it's probably going to be the antenna portion that attaches to the board. It probably just needs to be reseated.
I hear you. I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of Wi-Fi printing, just because Wi-Fi always has that problem of dropping out at the wrong time. And I've had really bad Wi-Fi experiences, Wi-Fi printing through a web interface on a Type A, on like all of the Type A machines that I've ever used. So it's not just like a one-time incident. Every time I've tried to work with one, I've always had the interface lock up, or it doesn't connect over Wi-Fi or things like that. So that's why I'm a big fan of the old stick an SD card in the machine, and unless your SD card's corrupted, it just prints itself. I mean, I never, even on the Thingomatic, I run SD, so I don't even mess with running over USB. Personally, it's pointless. You know, I don't get why people still do it to this day when I personally think USB is more stable, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would much rather print with the USB or with the SD card than, you know, I'm not talking USB cord. I'm talking like with a new,
Thumb drives.
yeah, they've got where they have, you actually take a thumb drive and plug into it. And something like that would be really cool. But the SD cards to me are the best because that way you put your G code on it, you plug it in. You don't have to worry about an update on a computer. You don't have to worry about something going wrong with the Wi-Fi. It just works.
Guinness just popped in on chat and said he uses Octoprint with the Raspberry Pi 3 and a LAN cable, not Wi-Fi, and he has zero problems. Yeah, that's definitely more of something that's a DIY thing. We're kind of talking about like out of the box machine here, but that is a good point. It's like I'm still surprised the Thingomatic from its age and the fact that I have to run a 1 gig or less SD card. It works incredibly well over USB. Over a why so small?
Board can handle?
It's a limit of an 8-bit board.
Oh.
It's literally, it has to do with the formatting of the SD card. I think it has to be formatted FAT16, and the only way that you can do that is like it's like a 2 gig or below card. So my sister had an old 1 gig SD card that came with a camera. She's like, I'm not using this anymore. I'm like, cool. You know, it works good. And I have to say, after getting the Z-axis bushings changed out to those IGUS polymer ones, I've got 2 in the Z-axis, so it's like extremely rigid for what it is. I've done some off-camera prints with it, and it's a lot better. So I'm hoping when I go to do the improved little mag mount in NGen Flex, which I'll explain why in the video, should work pretty good, and I should have a video of that.
Calvin, your dad said check your email.
Chris? Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Don't worry. Thanks for the tip-off, though.
Check your email, Calvin. Check it now.
Check it.
Yeah, I'm checking it. Gosh darn it, I'm loading a photo of the
Just do it
right now.
Check your mail.
Do it. Do it now.
Check it. Check it.
Here we go. That solves all your print cooling problems right there. Big old squirrel cage blower.
Yeah. There we go.
Supersize that in a fan.
Supersized squirrel cage.
Yeah, no kidding. They call it
That's
the.
what I need to cool my garage.
That's what my parents used to cool their bedroom. Works good though.
Yeah.
Cheaper than an AC unit.
I'll bet.
Here, this is what the car looks like. If you guys are wondering.
That's teasing.
Heck yeah! I knew you would. I knew you and Curtis would go drooling over that, so that's why I put it up. You can blame my dad for emailing it to me though, so it's partly his fault. You know, just saying.
That's a sweet looking car.
It actually is. What year is that?
Yeah. Let me see. In the chat, he said it was. Let me see. He said his friend bought it new in 1973. Gave it to him in '98. A lot of his teen and 20s were spent in that car, and that's that. But yeah, it's
73, huh?
So, Dad, tell me in the chat if I'm wrong, but did you spray paint that car with spray cans, or was that the Mazda? Or am I totally wrong on this? And I puffed too much spray paint in my life painting models.
That was
Oh, it looks like Jeff's having some printer problems right now.
No, I'm done.
Oh, you're done?
Well,
Congratulations.
The first phase is done. The first parts are done.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Doing 2 colors because people like to see 2 colors. So.
Oh, you know, got to keep the YouTubes happy, you know.
Yes. Time to go in the filament vault.
Ooh.
What color?
I'm sitting on top of filament.
What color should we pick?
Hey, Hey Jeff, how about this? I have like 3 5-gallon buckets full of filament kicking around. I'm sitting on one.
Good chairs.
I have one of those screw top lids for storing like grain and stuff inside. Works actually really good for keeping the moisture out, especially in San Francisco.
Yeah, Vegas, not a problem. Not a problem.
I live in the desert, so I don't have to deal with humidity.
Biggest problem he has is keeping the PLA from melting to itself on the spool.
I was thinking the same thing. If he has to dry his filament, he probably just walks outside for 2 minutes on the patio and goes, "Oh, my filament's dry," and just walks back in the house.
You know, like some people would cool off an apple pie on the windowsill. I stack up my filament.
In your case, you have a mister on there re-wetting the filament.
So my dad said about 20 cans of $2 back in the day. Orchard Supply, many a science fair memory spent there. Flat black paint is what he painted with. I was right. I knew it. For me.
Me.
My childhood memories are correct after all. Congratulations. So, I was going to say, but I forgot. One with printer retraction issues. I'm trying to print a little shell for a little power truck for a train for an upcoming show I'm going to, and all the retractions to do the little windows and stuff started to go, and then after a while it just did so many retractions on the Ultimaker, it literally started to grind the filament. So I think I'm going to have to go back and either just turn off retractions and sand it or something like that. But, you know, you're not alone with too much retraction being a problem. I think that's the problem with everybody. It's just Bowden machines are definitely more prone to it than non-Bowdens, which is a bummer. I guess in the worst case scenario, I could always throw it on Thingomatic.
Jeff, you just gave me a neat idea for a practical print. I'm going to design a barbell system with thread-on like wing nuts, and Calvin's probably going to be drawing this for me. Basically, a tube handle it with thread-on wing nuts on the side, so that you can slide, 1, 2, 4 rolls of filament on the end to make hand weights.
That would work.
And then you can start like this late night infomercial show, and you can be like, "Hey, it's working out with Jeff," and you can hey, he's doing it right now.
Jeff out. Do it, Jeff. Do it.
Good.
Do you have a bunch of filament laying around and nothing to do with it? Well, you can body build.
Make sure you get those giant 10-kilo spools from either Tallman or Atomic or something like that. Those work really good for workout weights. Those big ones that you don't want to drop on your foot. Good call.
Matter Hackers has those big 5 and 10 pound spools. I was actually thinking about getting a 5-pound spool of black for Halloween prints and just put it on the shelf behind the G-Max and just leave it there.
Mister, I don't have to deal with humidity, so I can just leave my filament lying out. It's no big deal. No, I'm just kidding. That is really awesome, though, that you can just do that. I wish I could do that, but I technically can't. Especially with stuff like nylons and things like that. Forget it.
I got the nylon sitting in the dehydrator over here. I don't know where my spool of Tallman is. That's missing. All my PLA is just laying out everywhere.
I do have
mine too.
I do have too. I don't keep all of it in the bags or anything.
I have a spool of PC alloy that I tried to dry in the oven, and it just kind of melted the spool carrier, or the spool itself, I should say. Round.
Ooh.
That sucks.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to rig something up to re-spool it onto something else. And then try to dry it again.
Yeah, to give you guys an idea of the humidity that I deal with, as of the stream right now at 10:45, I'm dealing with 60% humidity according to Google right now. Let me go see what Jeff is dealing with, because, you know,
2.
Maybe. No. Maybe.
20%.
Plug
He's
in-
dealing with 20%. I'm dealing with 60. That says a lot right there. That's why he can get away with leaving it out. I'm so jealous of.
Plug in 92646.
Nine two six four six, and wow, Chris has got me beat. He's dealing with 83% right now.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Mine's 89147.
Okay, I'll just play the weatherman then.
Calvin the Weatherman.
Come on now, you got access.
Survey says.
And it says you're dealing with 20%, but
Not
it's
too-
70 degrees. So you know.
It's not bad.
Curtis is saying it's 30 in his office. Yeah, we're gonna just like play the weather people at 10:45 every night. Everybody, tell us what your weather is like, and then we just go ring round Rosie or things like that.
That's not
So
bad.
while we're on that, I guess the real question is, what do you guys do for filament storage? I obviously showed mine. It's a 5-gallon bucket with a screw top lid and a big old desiccant brick inside. But let's go around. Let's start with Jeff. Then go to Jimmy, who's always patiently waiting, which I feel terrible about. And then we'll jump to Chris. So what do you guys use for filament storage, just to give an idea?
Well, I'm a big fan of these giant Tupperware containers because obviously I'm getting a lot of different colors to work with. So these actually have they have a foam seal inside here, and even though these things come off all the time, it still seals them up pretty good. And then I have probably a dozen silica bags, desiccant bags down in the bottom of this thing. So when I put it down and I lock everything down, I give it a good burp just to clear the rest of the air out. So that's my main.
I use the got it. I use the big old color changing desiccator bricks off Amazon that you can get as like a pack of like 3 for 10 or something like that. Those big old ones, and those work really good. But the only drawback is they tend to split apart easily. So whenever I get them, I always go around the edge with a lot of modeling cement or CA glue to lock it in place so I don't drop the thing an inch and it goes and just spills beads everywhere. I've done that and it's not fun. So what about you, Jimmy? What do you do down in a steamy, hot, humid Salinas when you're down there?
I do absolutely nothing. I have it all setting out.
Not cool, dude.
I'm horrible. I don't have storage for it. I have it all setting out on shelves and I just leave it out.
Okay, it's official. Next time I'm down there, we're doing an intervention, dude. You're getting a 5-gallon bucket. I'm done. This is an intervention, Jimmy. We're going to teach you the right way to store filament.
You got to store it in something. You're coastal, so there's probably a ton of moisture in there. Is there not?
Literally,
Yeah,
when we were harvesting. Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry, I jumped over
Yeah.
you.
In Salinas, we have maybe during the summertime it's probably about 20-30%.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Well, remember when we filmed, remember when we filmed the sandblasting video, you sandblasted that piece of steel. We went out to dinner and out to lunch, and an hour and a half later, I think it was, no more than that, we came back, and it went from bright, shiny steel to starting to have like really fine surface rust on it again.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, that's a little bit of an extreme example, but you kind of get what I mean. So there is a bit of humidity, but we were outside. We were right next to a farm, so that probably helped boost the humidity as well because you had all the water from the irrigation canal and all that stuff. But still, it can get humid out there.
Plus the fog was starting to come in too.
Fog will be the worst one. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? What do you do for filament storage?
Most of my PLA just sits around wherever I left it, and I've kind of got to find it wherever that was. I mean, I've got printers here in my office outside. I've got them in the garage. I've got them in my daughter's old bedroom when she moved out. We have printers in there, so it's like wherever I left it. For my nylon and my PC, except for this bad roll, my other more premium filament, and I think like the one spool of ABS I have. I keep those. I got 4 subs similar to what Jeff has, full filament, with the sealed top on it. I don't have mine don't have a gasket or anything. They're just, the dollars, or not the dollar store, but like Big Lots plastic bins. I get similar to like what you have, the Decusant packs. We get these things at a local store called Daiso. Down here, it's a Japanese version of dollar store. But they have
them in SF. My mom's addicted to them. Every time she comes up, I gotta go to Daiso. Well, I'm like, okay. Ugh.
So if you go, Mom, they have these little dehydration things. Basically, they're yay tall, yay wide, and with like a little grill style top on it, and it's got a tank that grabs the water. So as it soaks it up, you can see the water filling up, and when it gets full, you dump it. So about every 2 months, I have to throw the tank out. But that actively collects the water. You know what I mean? So it works well.
I know what you mean. I've seen those before, and I used to use one, but I tipped it over one time and spilled all the lovely calcium, whatever, I forget what it is that they use to soak up the moisture with. Made a mess and said, nope, not again. So Jeff, can you show us that sweet drinks mug that you have real quick? Because I just saw it and it looks awesome.
What was that?
Can you show us that sweet drink mug that you have? I'm getting slightly jealous of it.
Where did I put it?
I don't know. I didn't move it. And now he's staring at the G-Max. He doesn't know what to do. No, I'm just kidding.
Where did I put that?
You just had it, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. And Chris was talking, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to cut to it, but I didn't, because I want to cut Chris off.
Somebody rewind it real quick.
In the meantime, my dad says that my mom says, yes, it's true, she is addicted to Daiso.
Yeah. We have them all over down here. I'm pretty sure they have them out by her.
My parents live outside of LA, so no, she has to go down into LA. But if you come into SF, there's one in Daly. There's one in Sierra Madre that she goes to, and then there's one in San Francisco. Each one has different stuff, so it's kind of like luck of the draw with which one you go to.
They have them. I'll text you offline. There's a couple actually out there off the 101.
Okay. I never go there, so I'm like horrible with where they're located. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just the store my mom's addicted to. That's what it is.
Yeah. There's a couple out there. Gosh, I can't.
Are you talking about this?
No. You suck, Jeff. You think whatever. I give up. I'm done. Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I totally had the speakers down and I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay, I was saying, like, what's that awesome drink mug that you had?
Oh,
Jimmy, what the heck are you doing?
I just got a little bit more comfortable.
That is awesome. That looks like Angus's Fallout nuke.
It's up on Thingiverse. It's the bomb can mug.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's actually got a lid that screws onto the top of the cans, obviously the shorter cans, but it needs to go up at like 1% in scale because of shrinkage, because it doesn't really fit. I don't even know where the lid is. It's probably up on the shelf somewhere. But yeah, it keeps the cans actually pretty cold too while they're sitting here, especially here in Vegas. It's actually a little extra insulation. So, and it's sealed. There's no holes in it or anything. So, yeah. That's probably that's probably one of my favorite 3D prints that I've done through the whole year, is this.
That is cool. The Guinness is asking a link to the mug bomb really fast. Let me jump on Thingiverse.
Yeah.
Do you remember what was it called again? Sorry.
It's the bomb can holder.
That was like one of your first days.
Yeah, that was very early. Yeah, I got it for you. I got it.
Ah, found it.
Yeah.
Got it? Let me beat you to it. Done.
Well, I'm not
I'm
an administrator, so I can't copy paste links.
I can. Okay, now that we're on the subject of favorite prints, let's start with Jimmy because he's like passing out on us from boredom right now.
It's been a long day.
Long day in the swagger wagon. It's very, very tiring riding around in that awesome.
What was your question, Curtis?
Anyone
Calvin.
Anyone will do.
By the way, Calvin, how come you're not wearing your thing around your neck?
It's because it's in the garage and I don't feel like running downstairs to get it because I'm a lazy bum. That's why.
No sunglasses. No make your coin around your neck.
No, but I do have the unpainted one. Does that count for anything?
Sure.
The problem is it freaks the camera out because it's still white. No, the question was starting with you, Jimmy, and then we'll just jump to whoever, like we always do. What has got to be your favorite print or prints that you have done personally, if you can remember the name of them, or just give a description of them or something like that?
Actually, the very favorite print I ever did was actually for my XM radio in the van. That was actually my favorite print because I designed that thing from scratch to fit in the cup holder.
Go you. That's awesome. So not sure what's up with Chris, but let's jump to Jeff. Since you've done like how long have you done Print 365 for?
This is day 269 going to 270.
You've done a boatload of prints. Like, what's your favorite or favorite prints that you have personally completed?
I'm a huge fan of these mechanical devices. I think these are the best.
I love those.
I mean, this just blows me away. I mean, the fact that this was all just 3D printed in like 8 hours and just snaps together and it works. I mean, the gear is turning. You guys can see that. I don't know if you can see that. The gear is.
Was that a single piece print or a multi? It had to be a multi-piece, right?
It's a multi. All these are little pins here. It was all stuck together with these little pins, and those are all 3D printed too. And this is actually Da Vinci's Canon, so it's kind of cool that it's actually an item. It's not just something somebody designed. This is a real world thing, to be honest. I mean, imagine this the size of this room. Look at that Canon. I mean,
that's awesome.
But stuff like that, and you know, anything that prints good. I mean, I try to print stuff that I like, you know. So when something turns out really, really good, like, you know, this guy, the little Viking with the sword, or I have a few on my desk that I like. Jimmy's favorite.
Oh, what a cute puppy.
I mean, that turned out great.
We all know secretly Jimmy's most favorite print is the Daniel Miore head scan. We all know it's okay. Admit it, it's safe.
I didn't bring it with me. I'm going through withdrawals because I can't just pet it.
Sorry, back to you, Jeff. That just popped to mind, and I'm like, oh, I gotta say that while the moment's right.
Well, I gotta say this. Did you say it was episode 269?
Yeah. Today
I heard it was 69. Sorry about that. All I heard was 69, and I just kind of lost track of what you said before that.
No, it's 270, Jimmy. 270.
Okay.
Less than 100 days left.
What was that, Chris? Sorry.
Less than 100 days left.
No kidding.
Yeah, we all got to head to Vegas pretty soon.
Yeah, I better start packing my bags. Start finding out what trains to hitchhike to get. I'm just kidding. No, we all know secretly deep down inside we want to see Jimmy come rolling up in his van, stick his head out the window, and say that famous line that has to be in every single video when somebody gets in my car.
You mean get in the car, loser? We're heading to Vegas.
We're heading to wherever, San Francisco, Vegas, wherever the heck it is.
I'm totally good. I'm going to pick you up in the center and we're going to head to Vegas.
Everybody's gonna be like, "Wait, what are you doing?" Oh, we're just seeing Jeff from Print 3D channel. Don't worry. So, Chris, what's being that you're practical printing? What's your favorite print? And no, it does not have to be practical. Just like favorite print ever.
My current favorite one, the original. I'll show you the backup of it. The original one got sent off to Filament One. They were going to show it in their booth at New York Maker Faire. Unfortunately, it didn't get to its intermediate stop in time to get taken all the way back. So it's with them at their headquarters in Arizona. But that was my bear that I did out of the timber fill. This was the backup one that hasn't been finished yet. But the one that I sent him was printed out of the timber fill. It's 70% wood. So it's a PLA blend, but 70% wood. So it's only 30% PLA. I actually finished it like I would a carved wood model. And it's a low poly, so it's got the flat bumpy spots, which worked out great because I was able to use a wood rasp basically to roll them, into texture and shape and give it like a furry, hairy look. And then I used a low power Dremel tool with a wire brush in it, basically to get rid of the layer lines and to like deburr the bottom and stuff, and you know what I mean, to give it that furry, coarse grizzly bear texture. And then I used multiple layers of staining and stuff to make it look like real wood. So it looked like somebody sat there with their pocket knife and carved out of a chunk of wood.
That's the thing that I love about a print like that is in the post-processing, which is something I feel that gets really overlooked. And I was talking to Jeff's wife a little bit about this on Twitter earlier. I feel like the post-processing is the side of 3D printing that never gets featured enough, where the problem is, and this is absolutely no diss to the really, really good print designers like Bill and Brittany Duran or Chelsea Kearney or anybody like that who's extremely good at finishing prints. But I feel like what happens is when people see those amazing, amazing quality things, kind of makes them almost freaked out a little bit to try and do it themselves. So you actually taking the time to carve out, get the quote carved effect of that bear just using everyday stuff makes the effect really cool. And I think it's awesome that you've done that. It looks really good.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I mean, one of the other favorites is the old dog bone that I did for Kona, the Nyla bone. But just because I use it as a paperweight now, because it's heavy. It's about 4 pounds of, well, maybe less than that. How much is it's about half a spool of Matter Hackers nylon in this tiny
pretty
little.
dense.
So 100% infill on this thing.
Wow.
The hope was it would be harder for him to chew through it.
Did it work?
The first one did. The second one I did not give him because the layers were separating a little bit. I didn't want to take a chance with it splintering off for him.
Fair enough. I guess for me it's pretty darn obvious what my favorite print is. It's got to be this little guy and all of its little iterative buddies. I remember first time I made it up thinking to myself, oh, it's just going to be a one-time deal. I'm going to make it up for Maker Faire and that's it. And it's kind of morphed into like its own little ecosystem for itself in a sense. After Danielle made some hilarious comments about what the back of the monitor looked like with the boost converter and the battery, I decided to make a little cover for it so it looked a little less, quote, scary and made it look a little more professional. So if anybody wondered, it's like, oh, I got a battery and a boost converter inside and that sort of thing. But this little setup right here, and props to my dad for finding these online, telling me about them. Probably my favorite print, and that's pretty much a duh right there. And what is that?
The 3D printed ping pong ball launcher. I forgot about this guy. This is one of my favorites.
It's awesome.
Yeah, this
That
was
is
actually
that
an
is
easy
serious.
print, and it was just a bunch of screws I had laying around. There's some overhangs, and it is pretty printer tolerant. I mean, the parts are pretty thin, but it's all just rubber band and screws. That's it.
You know what would be really cool to do with a print like that would be to take and like post-process it to make it look like some Mad Max-ish, steampunk-ish thing with like a old, like maybe make it in Bronzeville or something like that. Find a way to maybe thicken the model a little bit, or just
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things. You could steampunk this. You could do a longer barrel, put a heavier gauge rubber band on here. You could do a magazine extender with maybe even a loop, and kind of Mad Max it, kind of steampunk it too.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like one of those prints that's useful, but you can really go to town with it, even in its current configuration. Just adding certain, even just with paint, you can make that thing look incredible.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty modular too. I mean the way it's set up, you could easily drop this top piece into Fusion 360 and extend it out as far as you wanted, because the only thing that's on here is this little rubber band retainer. So that wouldn't affect the performance whatsoever. You could lengthen these pieces out too in Fusion. And I mean, you could drag this thing way out and then just have some absurd giant ping pong gun.
Okay, Jimmy, that totally nullifies our little tank idea that we had with Curtis. We got to one up that now. We're done.
Yep. Definitely.
I haven't given up on the tank idea. I need to work on it more, but I've kind of decided to change up the original plans because I would love to have that thing functional in one way or another for Barry and Maker Faire, but I don't know if we could be able to pull it off. I'd have to find a way to haul it down on like Caltrain and the bus, but that would be epic.
Yeah, it would.
We can get Jeff to do some big prints for us for it.
So did you design your surfboard yet?
Not yet. You mean the paddleboard, catamaran doodad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to work on that more because I'm hoping probably over spring break to drive down to see family and drag that with me, but we'll see about that. So I need to work on that because it's a project that I know is going to take a while, but I need to work on designing it. That's the short answer. I haven't given up on the 3D printed version though, but I don't think that's as practical as we thought.
That's that's a windsurfing board, right? Not a kayak, right?
Right. It's pretty much a paddleboard is a wider version of a surfboard, so you can stand on the thing and it's level. But because I don't have one piece of foam big enough lying around the house, I was thinking of making it 2 pontoons so you can adjust the width as necessary. Put a little riding area in the middle and almost have it be like those outrigger boats in like the beginning of Hawaii 5.0 or something like that. Only in this case, you can either stand or sit, and the goal is potentially to make it, if it has enough buoyancy, haul 2 people, and also make it so that the pontoons can be broken apart into 2 separate pieces. So I can say each pontoon is a total length of 10 feet. I'll only have to haul a 5-foot into 5-foot piece so I can more easily fit it into my car. So I have to fold the back seat down and do all that stuff. It makes it easier to transport as well, is the theory, at least.
All I'm going to say on a live stream is there was a Japanese woman who 3D printed a kayak. You can Google that yourself, and I'm going to leave it at that on a live stream.
Fair enough.
But it's worth Googling.
I will check that out after the stream. Because the idea that Jimmy and I had was take a bunch of individual pieces and then run like 3 fiberglass rods down it, epoxy everything together, and maybe give it 1 wrap of fiberglass just to hold everything in place at the joints, if that. But then I figured 3 half-inch fiberglass rods with good gluing on each end should be more than enough. But then we started to sit down and figure out just how much filament it was going to take, and then we decided not worth it. It was literally going to take like almost 20 plus pounds of filament just to do the basic shape for like an 8-foot, like 2 6-foot pontoons, and we just figured it wasn't worth it. I mean, each print was 8 hours a piece, and each print was only 8 inches tall. So you do the math on that very quickly, it becomes like almost 2 weeks of continuous printing. And it just wasn't worth it.
Dang.
Yeah. I mean, if we had, I'll put it this way, if we had a large format machine that we could, like those giant machines that can print tables and stuff, it'd be a different story. Or that giant machine that Daniel Niore had, like that 5 foot tall 3D printed wrench thing that he designed, or the giant benchy. That would be great, but I don't have access to that. And the whole point was I wanted to try and see if a hobby machine like my Ultimaker could print enough components to make that. But for now, it's not worth it. Not unless somebody steps out of the blue with a giant format printer in like a filament warehouse to donate to us. It's on hold indefinitely for practicality reasons.
I say we just drill out some nozzles out to 1 millimeter, and we'll just start feeding the filament through it.
I had thought about that, but the problem is I wanted to try and make the thing with as few segments as possible for practicality reasons. But I mean, I'm not saying that the idea couldn't happen. I'm just saying currently it's not practical. But I didn't say it wasn't impossible.
Yeah.
Because it's totally doable. It's just from a time standpoint, I don't feel like tying up my machine theoretically for that long for a project that might not even work. Unless we get like a bunch of people to donate components to it. But then that opens up its own whole Pandora's box of problems. And it's just like, I think it's easier to make something from PVC pipe even, which I'd thought about, but then I figured it wouldn't have enough buoyancy. So that's why I was thinking foam. We'll see. I'm no board builder. I just know it would be a fun project to try.
Yeah.
Use that 6-inch thin wall sewer pipe like they use for drainage and fill it up with spray foam.
Yep.
That is a thought. That would potentially work. I'm not ruling out the options of doing PVC or something like that. I just need to kind of sit down and figure out what's the best option out of all the options. But that is actually a really good one while I'm at it. I should just do like a junkyard work style, get a couple of 55-gallon drones, tack weld them together, make some really cheesy nose cones for it, and then go paddling out into the ocean. It would be great.
Just fill them with like 20 cans of that spray foam.
Hey, Dad, next time you're at Tia Toxic, you see spray foam? I'm just kidding.
Even if the even if the nozzle's jammed, there's ways to get to all the stuff at the bottom of it.
I'm assuming you punch a hole in it and all that stuff.
Staple gun.
Oh, okay. So Jimmy, Curtis is asking, when did the fireball extinguishers get tested? That's on Jimmy's end right now. I got to just build the printer props, but that's pretty easy. He's out of town right now, so I did too. But I think Curtis is getting itchy to watch us burn things on camera.
I know we need to do that. We need to do that soon.
Before the weather turns crappy and shoot day becomes like a torrential downpour or something terrible like that.
So when are you heading down to LA?
I will message you those dates.
Okay.
But it is during the second week of October.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's coming up soon then. So we'll probably have to do it after you get back.
Yeah, definitely. I still need to make up the machine frames, but I could literally even do that down there. Literally all I was going to do is take some like cheapy plywood from the hardware store, mark out an opening. Pretty much I was going to make the design like the Thingomatic, only in this case I'm only going to make the front panel have an opening. All the others are going to be enclosed, and then just use like 3D printed corner brackets, put the thing together really fast. Like we said, it doesn't need to be anything structural. It just needs to hold up for the shoot because it's going to get burned anyways, and then we can test the whole ignition system, which I'll probably do that at home to double check it's going to work. Make sure we have a, no pun intended, a surefire way of making it go, other than we just drop a match on the machine, which is stupid, and then go from there. And then no, Jimmy, I don't soak the Thingomatic in kerosene and then do prints on it. Although I am going to say, I'm not going to reveal on camera what the chemical is, but I am going to treat one printer's material with a top secret chemical to make everything burn a little faster on camera.
Thermite.
No. No, Jimmy, it's not thermite. Thermite's actually a pain to get lit.
Yeah, it is.
It's something that
But once it goes,
everybody thinks, oh, he's like, oh, it's thermite. I'm like, no, that stuff's a pain in the butt. I should like find where they're doing like track work and like run off with like one of those little track welding crucibles one day. Oh, sweet! But
Well, guys, I think I'm gonna head out of here a little bit. The wife's on her way home, and the kids are sleeping, and it's getting a little bit late. I'm gonna try and get this print going for tomorrow.
awesome. Well,
okay,
thanks
Jeff,
again.
will you take care?
All right,
Thanks
Jimmy,
for jumping
Alvin,
on, dude. It
Chris.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for
And
letting me join in tonight. I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. Tonight was literally like we didn't have anything planned, so between the technical difficulties and me just kind of being like, I don't really have a topic in mind. I'm like, well, you know what? Let me just see if, Chris and anybody else who's cool that I know would be up around this time and live streams wants to jump in, kind of just have a little chill sesh, talk about stuff, But yeah, thanks again for popping in, dude. You're more than welcome anytime. Just give us a holler if you want to join in, and same with you, Chris.
Awesome.
And
Thanks, guys.
and Jeff, and I'll see you on Saturday. Okay.
Yes, sir. Well, looking forward to hooking up and having some street tacos with you, Jimmy.
Oh, that is not cool.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
All right.
take care.
Have a good one.
I actually need to get back to work here, guys, too. Otherwise, I'll have to up all night.
Man, everybody's bailing. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good, dude. Seriously, thanks for jumping on and putting up with our technical difficulties. That was much appreciated.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Chris. But we have one request before you leave. We need to hear a tune from the ukulele.
A tune?
Heck yeah.
I don't know if we can do a tune. I'll here. See if. Well, wait. Anyone? Jeff would have known that.
Sound good on me? Have a good one, Chris. Thank you very much for joining.
Crazy.
Thanks again, dude.
Ozzy Osbourne. See you guys.
Yeah.
Take care.
Well, I guess my dad's out. Chris just left, and Jeff just left, and where the heck is Jimmy? Crap, did Jimmy bail on me? Gosh darn it. Okay, well, I think Jimmy accidentally hit a button or something. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to our awesome guest stars that came on the show. I'm going to end the stream here. I got to get up early tomorrow to drive Grandma to the dentist. So thanks again, everybody, for popping in. Hope my parents enjoyed the goofiness that was this stream. And we'll see you guys next time here on the Calvin and Jimmy Show. Next time, it'll be back on Jimmy's channel. And now that I think I've got live streaming set up, we're going to kind of alternate back and forth between channels whenever possible. So if you haven't already, go give Jimmy over at Jimmy Shaw's Tidbits a follow, and we'll see you guys later. Peace out. Or as Jimmy does,